Hello everyone, my name is Shreya and I'm a legal intern at Lexis & Company. I'm pursuing BLLB honors from Law College Dehradun Uttaranchal University. Currently in 7th semester. I am very glad to be presenting to you guys with this video because of my opportunity of interning at Lexis & Company. So the purpose of this video will be to explain to you guys delegated legislation under various headings. Those will be what is legislation, what is actually delegated legislation, and what is the need and the historical background for the growth of delegated legislation, how it has come into place and its importance, so the reasons for its growth, and at last I'll be discussing the constitutionality of delegated legislation and some cases regarding it. Further, I'll be discussing about what are the various functions which can be delegated and which cannot be delegated. I'll conclude this topic in two parts. So let's begin. So the executive department of India performs various administrative functions which are its basic functions, but apart from its administrative functions, it also performs some of the legislative functions as well as the judicial functions. So this power which is delegated to the executive organ, that is the legislative and the judicial functions, which are originally not its power but have been delegated to it by some authority. So such legislation is called delegated legislation. The statutes are basically incomplete without the delegated legislation, hence delegated legislations are part of the statutes, whether it is direct or indirect. So what actually legislation is? According to Salmond, legislation is either supreme or subordinate, whereas the former precedes the sovereign or supreme power, the latter flows from the authority over the sovereign power and is therefore dependent for its existence and continuance on the superior or supreme authority. So basically Salmond describes legislation, says that legislation is either supreme or subordinate. The supreme legislation is the sovereign legislation over which there is no other authority, and the subordinate legislation is which is under the authority of some sovereign power. Therefore it is dependent upon that supreme or sovereign power for its existence and continuity. What actually delegated legislation is? C.K. Takwani says that delegated legislation is a legislation made by a body or a person other than the sovereign in parliament. You know, that legislation which the sovereign of the parliament does not make, but it is made by some other authority by the virtue of the powers which that particular sovereign party confers on some other authority. So thus when the function of the legislation is entrusted to the organs other than the legislature by the legislature itself, such legislation made is called the delegated legislation. What is delegated legislation according to Jain and Jain? The term delegated legislation according to them is used in two senses. First, it is exercised by a subordinate agency of the legislative power delegated to it by the legislature. This is the same point as I have discussed earlier, that the legislature delegates its power to some other authority, and that authority to whom that power is delegated makes the law. So second is the subsidiary rules themselves, which are made by the subordinate authority in pursuance of the power conferred on it by the legislature. It is same, the rules made by the subordinate authority. Now I'll move on to the historical growth of delegated legislation. So in the 20th century, there it witnessed a growth of delegated legislation in all the systems of the world. And in the past too, before the 20th century, the delegation of legislative power by the legislature to the executive have prevailed. So there have been delegation of legislative functions ever since the statutes have been enacted by the parliament. And in in the 15th and the 16th century, there was frequent use of Henry VIII clause, which says that according to which extensive powers were given to the legislature by various proclamations. And in 19th century, the delegated legislature became more common and considerably increased due to the social and economic reforms. And at last, in the 20th century, the output of delegated legislation by the executive is several times more than output of enactments by a competent legislature. That is, it is very frequently used, the delegated legislation, and is very important nowadays. So the last part in this video for delegated legislation would be the reasons for the growth of delegated legislation. The first point here is insufficient parliamentary time. In our country, there are many number of laws which are to be made by the parliament, and they require they are to be made in very detail. So there is not much time given to the parliament that they can discuss all the laws in very detail. Therefore, the power is delegated to the executive to discuss those details which the parliament is unable to discuss. Thus, the legislature creates a general policy and empowers the executive to fill in those details, and the executive issues necessary rules, regulations, bylaws, and other laws, etc., etc. Next point is technicality. So the parliamentarians are common people and do not have that expertise, knowledge to draft those laws. So to draft those technical laws and to deal with the technicality of those laws, the power is delegated to the executives to draft the laws in the very effective manner. Thus the power is delegated to them. So the next point here is flexibility. The legislative amendment process is a slow process than the laws which are made by the delegative legislation. So the laws made by the delegated legislation, here the executive can make laws very expeditiously as compared to the legislative amendments. The numerous statutes provide a removal of the difficulty clause, empowering the administration to overcome difficulties for exercising delegated powers. And Henry VIII clause also confers wide powers to the government for the delegation of powers. Next is experiment. With the help of delegated legislation, experience out of experiments can be applied by the way of rules and regulations. For example, in the social traffic. So this is experiment. Next is emergency. In the situations of emergency, as I've discussed earlier, the legislative process of making the laws is very slow. Thus the power is delegated to the administrative organ so that they can do the work expeditiously. Next is local government. The local government understands its particular area way much better than the legislative organ, the parliament. Thus the power is conferred to the legislative to the local governments to make the laws for the better functioning. The last is speediness, as it has been discussed earlier in the other points, that the laws made by administrative is much faster than the legislative body of India. So this was it for today. I hope you guys like it. Do share your feedback and questions if you have any. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and share this video.